So Black Friday is around the corner, and this is the time of year where if I do any gear reviews, which admittedly it's not my favorite, but if I do any gear reviews, I'll do it around this time frame. I thought I'd offer you my 2 cents on Danner Pronghorns and Irish Setter Elk Trackers. I've been wearing both for a number of years now. Like any average guy, I look for the biggest bang for my buck. You know, I want the most value for my money. You figure by now I would have spent like $500 on a pair of Crispies or something, but nope, I'm apparently into Danners and Irish Setters. Alright, so we'll start with the Danner Pronghorns. These are the 5th generation, and I can't talk about Danner Pronghorns without mentioning my previous Danner Pronghorns, because my opinion of these has been colored by my experience with these. These are the first Danner Pronghorns I got. I think these are the 4th gen, and you can tell I definitely got my mileage on these things. Both of these. So what I liked about these things mostly is that they had a wider toe box, and the leather was double reinforced right here. I didn't have any problems with separation right here. It's just over time they separated right here. I think on both. Yeah. And they tore back here because there's no reinforcement back here at all. The tread, I don't really have any complaints about the tread. Alright, so newer Pronghorns. The first thing I noticed when I put them on is that they used a different shoe last. These are narrower than these were. So it took me longer to break this one in than it did these, because I was stretching the leather out. Because I typically wear about an 8.5 wide. These are 8 regulars, and I think these are 8 regulars. I bought 8 regulars on these based on my experience with these, because these had a wider toe box. The shoe last on these was wider. So, not knowing that they changed the shoe last, I bought regulars. So there's that. Now they changed the back of it so where it doesn't tear like it did in the past, which is good. The only problem I've had with these things is that on the front, the rubber started separating from the toe. So I tried using some shoe glue and gluing it back in there. So my only 2 complaints about these boots: the separation on the toe, and the shoe last was a little narrower than my last Pronghorns. So there was a break-in period on these things. Overall, right now they're broken in pretty good. The tread gathers mud. I don't know if a tread that doesn't gather mud, except for an old Panama tread style, but these things gather mud. And the other thing I don't like about these things is right here, there's not much of a heel, so if you wear gaiters all the time like I do, there's less for the gaiter stirrup or strap to hang on to right there. So it's mostly flat. There's still some room in there, but I wish it had a little bit more of a heel. The insoles, generally speaking, insoles on these boots, or particularly the Irish Setters, I would replace them, and I'll get into that later. Alright, let's talk about the Irish Setter Elk Trackers. Now, the Pronghorns are usually my summer and early fall boot. These are my mid to late fall, early winter boot. I bought these in 200 grains of insulation, and I kind of wish I hadn't. I thought I needed insulated boots at the time. I've had these for a number of years. I just took good care of them. And yeah, late fall, early winter, that 200 grams of insulation works for you, but if it's not like 30 degrees outside, your feet sweat more. Now, the number one problem I've had or number two problem, aside from insulation, which that's purely a personal thing there, whether or not you prefer insulation or not. But the problem I've had with these Irish setter elk trackers is that the toe, just like the pronghorns, maybe it's the way I walk, I don't know, but the toe, like the pronghorns, was separating. And I've seen other people complain about this as well. I took it to my local cobbler, shoe repair guy, and what he did was, I think he put some shoe goo in there, but then he also put some brads in there. You can barely see them. So he re-nailed them, and they've been fine ever since. I like this one. Has a heel, so for your gaiter stirrups, these work better. A little bit of separation right there. I think these are resolable. Unlike the pronghorns, these are resolable, which is an important thing that I look for these days, because I like to resole my shoes. I replaced the boot laces with these are called iron laces, and they hold. Overall, if it's not cold, I'm not that cold, I don't wear these things anymore. The tread is okay. It gathers mud just like everything else. The fit, I think these are actually 8.5s regular. So these had a little bit of a break-in period too, but they're fine now. And the insoles on these things that they come with really, really do suck. I had a lot of heel lift with these things, and it wasn't until I replaced the insoles that I stopped getting blisters in the heels. So I still roll with these every year. One other thing that I don't like is this right here. It depends on how you like your gaiter to ride. I wear gaiters all the time, and this kind of catches the gaiter and it keeps it from riding up. Kind of locks it in place, that depends on if that's what you want or not. I kind of don't want it to do that. But if you're running some stirrups or something for like snowshoes or something like that, that might actually help you out there. I don't know what else to say about these things really. But I have a common complaint on both, and I'll get to that next. So here's a complaint I have both, and it deals with waterproofing. Whether it's the pronghorns or the elk trackers, they both have something in them that I don't like, and that is Gore-Tex. Good luck finding a hunting boot, a purpose-made hunting boot that does not have Gore-Tex in them. Now, Gore-Tex works at first, but the problem is that as you break in your boot, and as you get these little creases and everything else in there, what it does is it creates little pinholes in that Gore-Tex membrane where everything flexes and it tears over time. So what happens is that eventually that Gore-Tex, I give it 2 weeks before it's, maybe even less than that, less than 2 weeks before it stops working. And then your feet are going to get wet. Period. End of story. Unless you try going old-fashioned and using like mink oil or what was that other one called? Snow, I forget. But different oils and pastes to waterproof the leather. That'll keep the water out for a little while, but it's not on any part of the Gore-Tex. All the Gore-Tex eventually does is make your feet hot. So probably why my feet get hot in this. You've got Gore-Tex plus 200 grams of insulation in this thing. These things, because the outer fabric is, well, because it is an outer fabric, Cordura, it keeps my feet a little cooler in the summer, which is what I want. They would be even, my feet would be cooler and less sweaty if they did not have Gore-Tex in them. And Gore-Tex, I swear, they must have a corner on the shoe industry because, like I said, you're not going to find a hunting boot that does not have Gore-Tex in it. Everyone puts it in there, and it doesn't work. Okay, end rant. Okay, in case someone asks, these are the insoles that I have been using on all my boots for years. Unfortunately, Superfeet no longer makes these. I looked at their website. I have a feeling they kind of went woke because these were purpose made for hunters, and they did away with all of their hunting line. They got some new CEO in there, and they changed they're more diverse. So, I don't know. I bought the last two of these insoles from Sportsman's online. I ordered 3 pair, and they only sent me 2 because that's all they had left. You can tell this has been sitting on the bottom of a warehouse floor for years. So, I don't know what I'm going to do for insoles now. Since I'm here yapping anyway, I know what I'm getting for Christmas. Oh, look, more Superfeets. I'll do a video on these things later, but these are Danners. These are kind of more upscaled, handcrafted in the US, resolable. Not sure how I feel about that, but yeah, this is a subject for another video, but I got them. Can't talk about them till after Christmas. Apparently I'm a sucker for anything with the word elk in it. Oh look, more Gore-Tex. Imagine my shock. Alright, well, I think that's all I got for that. Hopefully this is helpful in some small way. And you have a good one.